So one thing I've learned from all these years of training at the Art of Jiu Jitsu and competing and podcasting and writing for Vice Media covering Jiu Jitsu and even commentating at professional events is that there is a much different journey for people who start Jiu Jitsu at 30 plus than there is for someone who starts training as a kid or as a teenager or even in your early 20s. And this difference affects everything from how often you can train, the types of things you can train, how you learn, what techniques work in competition, weight loss, injuries, flexibility. It's the whole gamut. And one reason I wanted to launch this series is because these are the questions that I'm getting again and again. Make no mistake, jiu-jitsu at the adult level is really the professional league, even at blue belt. I mean, I've seen green belts at blue belts that would smoke most black belts that are 30 plus. You could be going against a blue belt like Labote. And I've trained with Cole since he first got to AOJ. We've rolled many, many, many times. And that kid is a killer. I started at 43 years old and I'm 53 now. I got my black belt within 7 years at AOJ. And I competed from the time that I think I was 3 months starting. And I would compete 4 or 5 times a year. And I've won Pan Ams or Worlds at every belt from blue all the way to black. Given my experience and my journey, that's the reason that the Mendes brothers, my professors, Hoffa and Guy, asked me to host a section of their online academy to go over a lot of these details. So I wanted to launch this series because as I looked around, mainly for myself, I saw that most of the people offering instruction in jiu-jitsu had started as kids or as teenagers and were ostensibly professional athletes, or at least trying to be professional athletes. And while it's the same mountain, they climbed it from a completely different side on a completely different path. And they really aren't aware of what it's like to start when you're 35 plus. In regards to specific techniques that I'm going to be covering, the first of which I'm going to start going through speed passing, I have noticed for myself that, over the years, I haven't lost any strength. I'm still just as strong as I always was. I'm still just as flexible. I haven't lost any of that. I've gotten more flexible. And I'm going to go through those things. And in regards to diet, I've been able to really conquer diet. I don't have any issues with that. But in regards to techniques, one thing I've found is that as my cardio slips, I've had to get a lot more technical with every aspect of my game because, the typical masters division, approach to training is, you see guys, they just get tight and they're passing and they're squeezing and they're just trying to muscle through everything. And I found that that approach just in a competition does not work because when you've got 3, 4, 5 matches, if you burn out your grips by trying to power through everything, you just won't make it through the tournament. Every 6 months since I got my blue belt, I have dedicated to a specific facet of my game. Like at first it was, coming from wrestling, it was learning to play guard. And most recently I was in London and training with Ross Nichols. Dude is a master black belt under Hodger Gracie. And I just trained so much butterfly guard and tried to learn as much as I could. And since I've gotten back to the States, I've been working on speed passing. I've never really concentrated on passing in my game. It's always just been something that's kind of a given. Of course, I've learned rolling with Hoffa over all these years. I've probably rolled him hundreds of times. I I know speed passing, but I haven't integrated it into my game. And so I've been doing that over the past month, and I want to bring that to you guys and kind of break down every facet of it. One thing you'll figure out from me is I am incredibly obsessive over everything that I do. And I like to compartmentalize things and break them down into component structures. I think that's what I do well. And I'm doing that now with speed passing. And so, stay tuned. I'm going to break it down for you guys. And I think speed passing for me is probably one of the most important things that you can learn in the Masters division, because it really does take, I would say, 20% less effort for me than it does trying to power through like a knee slice pass. Sign up, hit me with questions or comments. No excuses, man. If I can do this shit at 53, then so can you.